Today we'll be repairing a torn and broken cardback. You can see part of the tear right there, and then you can see how it's split down the middle, right there, and it's got some crush damage down here. There's obviously the continuation of the crush damage right there. So we're gonna fix all of this. There's a few things that we're going to need for the repair today. You're also going to need a damp paper towel and a dry paper towel. First thing that we want to handle with this particular repair is that tear. So because that's the biggest problem, we're gonna fix that first. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get some glue and we're gonna put that together. In order to do like a repair on something like this when it's torn so deeply, because see, look here, I'll show you from this end. Okay, you can see it's like coming apart. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to try to like find the seams, kind of line them up like that, right? And then split this apart. Okay, and why you want to split it apart is so that when you go back in and you put in the adhesive, which I'm going to do in a moment here, everything that's loose will now have something to adhere to. Okay, so the more you split it up like this, kind of like the better. Even though it looks really bad right now, it'll look better later. Just trust me. You only put just a little bit on the very end. You don't need a lot. Just brush it ever so gently. Make sure to get into all the seams. Once that gets wet, if that inner part right there gets wet, everything's gonna stick together real nice. We got a nice coating in there. Nice even coating. Okay, that should just about do it. And it's all nice and lined up the way that you want it to. It's still wet. And then just go up, close it, and kind of wipe at the same time. Go up, close, and wipe at the same time. And now that's pretty even right there. Clean up any of the areas that you might have splashed some of the adhesive on. You know, if you just take your dry paper towel and wipe it off, it'll usually just come off fine, especially if it's rubber cement. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blunt end of this and I'm going to push on this to make it as level as possible. I'm going to push on it on the front, I'm going to push on it on the back, and then I'm going to go down here where this damage is. Right? I'm going to start to push that damage back the way that it should be. So it's like that. I'm going to start pushing it like that. All right, just try to line everything up nice so that this break line here remains as small as possible, because later on we're going to cover that up. Next up, we're going to iron the bottom of this card, and I have my wet paper towel. Okay, I'll put that on there first so that the heat from this doesn't burn the top of the card, because now right here is where you want to be really, really careful. The reason why I'm ironing it is because I'm trying to get this break damage to like be level again, like more flat like that instead of kind of raised. And I'm going to see if by ironing if it'll flatten out. Alright, it's flattened it out a little bit. Let's go a little bit closer to the bubble, but you want to be really, really careful. Make sure that the damp part is really close to that, and that the rest of it is covered too. So more like that. Okay, yep, it's nice and warm. I can tell that's as flat as it's gonna get. So now I'm gonna put something heavy on top of here just to kind of keep it flat to the back. And let's iron on the back here. Alright, let's check our progress here. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I mean, you can never get the creases completely out, okay? But at least you can get them smoother so that they're not so rigid, so that when you go back in later on to color some of this white damage in, you know, it'll blend in so much nicer. Next up, we're going to want to color in some of that damage that we see there, alright? And how we're going to do that is with a marker. And you're going to need a fine point marker of some kind, alright? And then what you want to do is you want to get your wet rag, okay? And you want to just very carefully just touch ever so gently. Just touch and fill in, okay? And then wipe, 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 wipe. Make sure that your thing is damp. Make sure your towelette is damp. You're just going to touch, touch, touch a little bit, and wipe, wipe, wipe. Alright, I'm not very ambidextrous, but I can do it from both sides. So touch, 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 and then wipe. Alright, and it will really blend in rather nicely as time goes on. And if you think that you're putting in too much marker, then just reapply some more water to the damp paper towel or sponge or whatever you want to use, and then put some more dampness, just dab it in like that, nice, and everything will come out very well. So I'm going to work at this for just a second and I'll show you the end result. Here's the end result. As you can see, when you go a little closer, you can see how there's a little bit of unevenness between here and the rest. What happened was, when I went in to do some of the repairs with the marker, there was some gloss on this cardback that came off. It like flaked off, and when I tried to blend in with the marker, even right there you can kind of see it where it's a little bit uneven in color. I tried to blend it as well as I could, but because of the gloss that they must put on top of these in order to make the paint stick a little bit better, I had to go back through with a paintbrush and some paint and basically repaint that strip right there that you see going down. Okay, but then on the other side I had to go and use the marker going up. I imagine I should have used a ruler, but I don't know, it doesn't look that bad. It's a little bit off color, but I did the best that I could, and I thought that the end result like this looks a lot better than it originally did. So this is the back, and as we move a little bit forward, you could see where some of that work was done over here and down here. Some of those seam lines from it being crushed are still visible, but I tried to cover them the best that I could, and like I said, I think the end result looks much better than how it looked when we first started. So yeah, that's all we have for today. This is just what I do in my spare time for fun. I'm not a professional, so you can take my advice for fixing stuff or you can throw it out the window. I just wanted to show you how I did it. This is our end result. There's the side where we mended with the glue before. It came out pretty straight. So there's the end result. If you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and until next time, good journey.